At 18 years old, I made over $100,000 wholesaling. That is more than any of my high school teachers. When I went to high school wrestling practice, I was making double the salary of my head coach because all I was doing was selling paper. Wholesaling houses, baby. Finding ugly houses, selling them to hedge funds, selling them to cash buyers, and making a ton of money. The truth here, it is so simple when you're young to make a ton of money wholesaling. The thing about this is you have a great foundation. You're not listening to these other wholesaling influencers telling you, go spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, start doing this, go buy the software, go do it. Guy, you have the best advantage. You are young. You can just go out here and just take action and have no bad habits. 8 years later now in wholesaling, I've been able to double my income year over year because I'm just that good at wholesaling houses. Now, I showed over $1.4 million of success stories from my students last month, a couple weeks ago on one of my live streams. Guys, that's $1.4 million from new students who just took my systems and started going after it. The truth is, I'm not here to sell you a course. These students, I teach them for free. I make plenty of money wholesaling. But the thing about it is the way I wholesale real estate is different than the 99% of wholesalers out here because I'm not doing what everyone else is doing. When they're zigging, I'm zagging. And what I want to do today is show you my layout, my blueprint system on how you can make your first $100,000 wholesaling real estate. I don't care you're 16, 17 years old like me starting out, or if you're 45 and you will make $100,000 this year wholesaling part-time, this is going to help you become successful wholesaling real estate. Now, my first $100,000 in wholesaling is a lot different. It's not the very traditional path. I was basically doing these things called bandit signs where I was writing on these chloroplast, like plastic white signs that says, I buy houses cash. I put my phone number on the bottom right and I just stuck them outside my high school wrestling tournaments. I got calls, went to the house, and I got properties under contract and sold them to the cash buyers. The thing about it was I actually got kicked out of high school a lot. And not because I was a bad student, right? I was actually an A+ student, but I would answer my bandit sign calls during class. And the teacher's like, you can't answer your phone. And I'm like, dude, like I'm making twice your income. Like I have to be doing this. And it wasn't really a bad thing, right? I still had good grades and stuff. But the thing about it was high school was kind of boring. You know, like I was getting good grades, but like, what's the point? If you were making six figures doing this at 18, like there was millions of dollars. That's all I could think about when I was making six figures. Like there's millions of dollars of opportunity if I can just master this skill set. And that's all I'm asking you to do. Master your first $100,000. Just let's make $100,000 a year, and then let's turn that into $1 million a year, eventually just getting better and better and better. I like to think about like a video game, right? You're just leveling up. Now in 2025, bandit signs are probably not the best option. What I actually invented was a brand new style of marketing called digital bandit signs. Now what digital bandit signs are, it's basically bandit signs, right? How I made my first six figures, but on a digital sense. Because of AI and all this new technology, you're able to basically post bandit signs in Facebook groups of like 30, 40, 50,000 people. And what I tell you is just ask AI to create an image to get a bunch of views, right? To get a bunch of engagement, post them in the Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm looking to buy houses for cash, warm up the group with like who's got the best pizza in the area, and boom, you're gonna start getting inbound seller leads. Now that's like the first foundation. On top of that too, if you just start doing some more traditional marketing strategies, but you do it the right way, for example, I highly recommend driving for dollars. I've always done this, but everyone drives for dollars, right? Everyone goes in their car, they look for ugly houses, right? But what you should do is just be the 1%, be a lot different. What I'd like you to do is something called reverse driving for dollars. Now, what reverse driving for dollars is you're driving around, you find an ugly house. Once you find that ugly house, what I want you to do is, first, I want you to go to the dollar store. I want you to get a pen, and I want you to write on a sticky note, right? Just buy a sticky note. You get 500 of them for like $1. Write on the sticky note, hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question about your property. Put your name there. Then put your Google Voice phone number. Then put that sticky note on the ugly house's door. The thing about it is people will pay thousands of dollars a month in your market to go post Facebook ads or all these type of marketing to say, hey, are you looking to sell your property? I know people will spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in direct mail, which is basically a piece of paper with writing on it saying that I buy houses. Well, what do you think a sticky note is that says I'm looking to buy your house cash? It's the same thing as the guy spending $20,000 a month in direct mail. you're doing the same amount of effort and you're doing the same amount of marketing for a fraction of the cost. Like you're spending, half a penny for something that the average person spent $1 to do. And if you put it on like 100, 200 of these houses, right? 200 sticky notes out, you're going to get inbound leads and you're going to get deals done doing this. And the cool part is you're not killing yourself grinding in a corner, cold calling all day. You were just listening to Kendrick Lamar just jamming, putting sticky notes out indoors. Now, a lot of people are worried like, oh my gosh, what if somebody says, oh, what are you doing? My partner and I are looking to buy properties in the area for cash. Are you looking to sell? No, get out of here. Okay, I'll leave. It's not really that stressful of a thing to do. Now, my first $100,000 was strictly from bandit signs. Then from there, I actually went to college and I learned I couldn't do bandit signs in my local market anymore. So what I did was I started cold calling. And this was a brand new thing. I did something called skip tracing and a mojo dialer. And it was very, very interesting times. But I was able to go from making $100,000 to $200,000 when I was 18 and 19 years old because I learned cold calling was just a way more effective strategy. And virtual wholesaling was a pretty dang good strategy too. Then I went back home, I learned how to do VAs and scale it out, then partner up with Rick. We added texting and that doubled the revenue again. So the lesson of this is you make a lot of money, not by mastering everything, but by mastering one thing and then getting another thing and then getting another thing, but mastering it on a slow process, right? You don't need to go double your revenue by doubling the amount of calling. If you become more efficient at it and do it the right way, you'll make a ton more money. Now, I get asked a lot, Zach, you were 18 years old, right? And I was actually 17 when I got my first wholesaling deal. A lot of people have this nervousness, right? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm 17. How do I go to a seller's house in person and say, I'm looking to buy your house, and the person not being like, oh, you're way too young, mister. Well, it's all about one word, and this is confidence. And I can scream from the rooftops about confidence all dang day, but the thing about it is confidence is a belief. A lot of people say confidence comes from just doing it a lot, and you're technically right, but you're technically wrong at the same time. Yes, doing wholesaling a ton, talking to a bunch of sellers like a lot, like putting the reps in, that is going to build your quote confidence, but it's not the actual reason why you're more confident. Confidence, my definition, is a belief in the words you say and the things you do. And fundamentally, that is a belief. Confidence is a belief. So if you've talked to 1,000 sellers at 17 years old, you believe that you can do it because you've done it so many dang times. The thing about it is you didn't have to call 1,000 sellers to have the confidence. You just needed to have the belief. And so what I want you to do is just believe in yourself and believe. So the reason you're struggling with confidence and the reason why you're talking to a motivated seller and you're young like I used to be, I'm an old man now, but back in the glory days, right? I was talking to sellers and I had a belief. I believed I can do this. I believed this is way better than my previous job being a bag boy. And the thing about it was you didn't really have to go out here and call thousands of sellers. You just had to believe you could do it. And a seller will look at your confidence and be like, wow, this person believes in themselves. And of course, you're going to deal with weird people that says, you're too young. I've actually had sellers say to my face, right? I didn't want to go with you because you just seemed way too young. That's actually happened to me before. Did I ever make that a reason why I was never going to become successful? No, right? It's a very rare exception, but it does happen, and it has happened plenty of times when I was young. But it wasn't the most common thing. So of course, doing a bunch is going to help you out, but you just got to believe that you can do it. And you got to remember, the person that believes they can close a seller and the person that doesn't believe they can close a seller are both technically correct, because whatever you believe is going to become the outcome here. Now, fundamentally in wholesaling, right, it's all about getting eyeballs to your message. If you can go contact 1,000 people, let them know you're looking to buy their ugly house, you're going to do better than the guy who's only getting 100 eyeballs in your message. So that's why digital band signs are important. Cold calling is important, but you got to cold call the right way, right? So the average person says, I'm going to get a triple line dialer, I'm going to pull a list, I'm going to start blasting it out, and boom, 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 boom. And that's great. But if you're not being tactical with your calling, you're just going to be wasting a bunch of time and you're going to get a bunch of vanity metrics, right? Oh, I made 20,000 calls. Well, how many people has picked up? It doesn't matter how many people you call. It's about how many people actually saw your message. So if you cold call 1,000 sellers and you're flexing and only 100 people out of those 1,000 saw your message, well, you only got 100 people picking up, which means your 1,000 doesn't count. And if you called 100 people, which is 10 times less than the guy that called 1,000, but every single one of those people picked up, you did the same amount of work as the other guy. So you got to remember, it's just about people looking at your message, not about the vanity metrics, not how many sticky notes you put out, but how many of these people actually saw it and called you. This is essential. And this comes back to the most important part. Offers makes the money. The more offers you make, the more money you're going to make in wholesaling. The one thing I could find from a brand new wholesaler is if you make the offers, you're going to make the money. And so if I want to look at you and I only have to ask one question to see how many deals you've closed, all I'm going to ask, how much money you're making, is I'm just going to ask, how many offers did you make this week? And if the number's 0, I know you've made no money wholesaling. But if you're someone that says, I make about an offer a day, you're going to start succeeding. And then we always get everyone complaining about, oh man, dude, it is so hard to sell a wholesaling deal. And I always laugh when people say this or they use that as an excuse because we sell properties at a discount. And in the United States of America, what is the quote American dream? The American dream is to own a house. So if that is pretty much the most wanted thing by men and women of all ages around the entire country, that should be pretty easy to sell a dang house. I'm not trying to sell like a spicy chicken sandwich to someone that hates spicy food. This is pretty dang easy to do. And the cool part is you got people wanting to live in houses, you got people looking to rent out their house and flip it, right? So if we could just sell it at a discount, people would want to buy it. So let's use an example. The vast majority of my audience are males. And I'm not saying you're all going to be male, but over 67% of the audience is young males looking to make a ton of money in real estate wholesaling, right? Most young males like sports cars, okay? We can use other things, but let's use sports cars for an example, right? So let's look at a Porsche 911, all right? Let's call it 2023 base, maybe a turbo package, right? Let's say that car is worth $100,000. Now, of course, they go up and down in price, whatever, right? But a used Porsche 911, all right? Now, the thing about it is that car's worth about $100,000. Now, if I try to sell that car to you right now for $100,000, would you buy it? You probably don't have the money for it. No offense, but it's like, I'm not going to buy it from you, Zach. Like, I don't got the money for it. I'm like, okay. Well, what if I was able, within 24 hours, you only have 24 hours to do this, to come up with the money. I will sell you this Porsche 911 for $20,000. If you come to me with $20,000 in hand or a check of 20 grand, I will hand you over the car. The next day you could sell for 100 grand and make 80 grand. I don't care, but I'm going to sell this to you for $20,000. Within 24 hours, would you find the money to buy it? 9 out of 10 people would say, yes, I will. Yes, I would. I'll go to uncle, I'll get money from friends, and right? Pretty obvious, right? The thing about it is, because there's money to be made with this proposal I gave to you, right? And that's the same exact proposal we give to cash buyers. Hey, here's this house that if you put 20 grand into it, you could sell it for 200 grand. So I'm going to sell you this house for $120,000. Wait, so I buy it for 120, I put 20 grand and I could sell it for 200? That's great. I'll buy it right now. See, in wholesaling real estate, we buy at a deep discount and we sell it at a discount. That's like me buying the Porsche for 10 grand and selling the Porsche for you for 30 grand. It's worth 100. Like, I made my 20 grand. That's all I care about, right? And the point is, you put the capital in there, you put the investment, you put the risk. And here's the thing about wholesaling. You struggle to sell your deals because you're probably sending out bad, I'll sell you that Porsche for $95,000. Like, sell it for 30, sell it for 40. Why are you trying to make all this money and get greedy? Because if the cash buyer is like, hey, I buy deals from this guy, I make a ton of money, you're good. You're probably not locking up properties for a deep enough discount, and you're probably not lowballing enough, and that's a talk for a different day, but you're probably just not selling deals at a good enough price. Now, you also might have the issue where you can't go out here and find any buyers. So that Porsche example, right? If I'm trying to sell to a bunch of high school kids, it's gonna be a lot harder for them to come up with 20 grand if I'm talking to some rich 60-year-olds at the yacht club, right? So maybe you're just in the wrong areas for buyers. I'll be honest with you, we're gonna keep this sucker so simple. Facebook groups, Zillow for rents. Just like call the Zillow for rents and say, hey, I'm not looking out to rent out your property. I don't want to be a tenant. I'm actually a wholesaler seeing if you're looking to buy any more rentals. Pretty simple. You can even JV with other wholesalers that have buyers and just partner up 50-50 on these deals. Like, you should never let a good deal go to waste here. And the best part about it is I'll teach you absolutely for free how to get started in wholesaling real estate. I have the #1 largest wholesaling community on existence called freewholesaling.com. If you want to learn wholesaling real estate for free, I just revamped my entire course. Like, I deleted all the videos out of it, and then I re-recorded for an entire year, and then recorded it again, edited it perfectly so you can learn wholesaling real estate in under 20 hours. I actually put that inside of my free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. On top of that too, I'm actually hosting the same course on my Discord. So if you go to zachdiscord.com, I'll teach you how to do it from there. And you can be in a Discord community and a school community of like-minded wholesalers looking to succeed. The thing about it is you need to learn with other wholesalers. You need to be with other people succeeding in the game. It's cool to be on YouTube, but you can't message someone making 300 grand a year. Just taught them for free on YouTube. I mean, you kind of can on the live streams, but you can't do it like on a daily basis. Well, in the Discord and in the school group, you can do it right now. So if you want to learn wholesaling real estate for free and see why people are making millions and millions and millions of dollars every single month learning from me for free, go to freewholesaling.com, go to zachdiscord.com, and I'll see you soon. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.